I thought I'd seen everything in 10 years with the K9 unit, right? You deal with everything from suspicious packages to the occasional rogue squirrel, the kind of stuff that keeps an airport cop busy, but nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for the day 14 of the best-trained dogs in the state broke formation and formed a perfect, silent, terrified circle around a 4-year-old girl at gate 12 of Juniper Springs International. It was supposed to be the usual Tuesday morning hum, that golden hour when the sunlight streams through the glass walls, and you can smell the bad coffee and the ozone from the arriving flights. Our elite unit, we call ourselves the Vortex, was running a routine sweep, and my lead dog, Maverick, a beast of a Malinois, German Shepherd mix, who normally moves with the precision of a Swiss clock. He just ... stopped. His ears were flickering like he was tuning into some invisible frequency. Right in the middle of all that calm, he was staring at a little girl, maybe 4 years old, standing all alone by a luggage carousel. She was clutching a worn-out stuffed unicorn, not a gi. Bang, mind you. But a pink unicorn with one button I'm missing in. Her calmness was the first thing that set off alarms in my head. To still. Too quiet for a lost kid. I barely had time to radio my partner, Officer Ben Diaz, before Maverick did what he'd never done before. He broke stride, turned his body, and let out this low, guttural warning, a sound that makes the hair stand up on your arms. And here's where the unbelievable part starts, one by one. Every single dog in the Vortex Unital, 14 of them, they mirrored him. They didn't bark, they didn't lunge. They just moved, slow and deliberate, forming a tight ring around that little girl. The terminal went silent. You could literally hear the distant announcements echoing because the soft chatter, the rolling suitcases, it all just froze. People pulled out their phones, thinking they were witnessing a cute photo op, maybe a lost kid being found, but I saw the dogs' tails. They were stiff, low, their bodies taut, but their heads were down. They weren't attacking, that was the crazy part. They were shielding her. And I knew, in that cold, sickening twist in my stomach, that whatever the danger was, it was for her, not from her. Hold position. I yelled into the chaos, but the command was pointless. Their instincts had taken over. Maverick's head was moving, tracking something I couldn't see, sniffing the air, then settling his focus. His entire 90-pound frame fixated on the unicorn. It was a standoff that lasted forever, maybe 20 seconds. The girl, Clara Hayes, she looked up at me with these huge, terrified blue eyes, and she whispered, "They're not mad. They're scared." That single sentence hit me harder than any adrenaline rush. My dogs, the toughest K9 unit in the region, were showing fear, and I realized they weren't reacting to the kid. They were reacting for the kid. Something near her, something on her, was giving off a scent of pure, imminent threat. I took a deep breath, crouched down, and tried to talk to her, keeping my voice level despite the alarms screaming in my gut. "Clara, sweetheart, I need to check your friend. Maverick thinks it needs a doctor, okay? Can you hand him to me?" She hesitated, her small fingers white against the matted pink fur. "Daddy gave him to me," she whispered. That broke my heart a little, but she handed it over. In the moment my gloved fingers touched the toy, I felt it. The weight was wrong. It felt cold, metallic. Not like plastic-like hardware. Diaz rushed over with the portable scanner, running it over the stuffed animal. The beep was sharp, high-pitched, cutting through the heavy air. Metal signature inside the torso. Wiring detected. My mind went straight to the worst case. I called the EOD squad immediately. But the tension shifted again. Maverick wasn't barking for a bomb. He was growling low, a deep, persistent rumble aimed at something beyond the girl. And then the real chaos started. A woman in a torn blazer, Sarah Hayes, burst past the cordoned-off area, her eyes wild, screaming Lily. "Clara, where is my daughter?" Officers tried to stop her, but she fought like a cornered animal. My gut told me, she's real. I let her through. And the second, Sarah dropped to her knees to embrace Clara. That's when the plot, the whole ugly corporate mess, blew wide open. Someone took her from the restroom just 10 minutes ago. Sarah sobbed into her daughter's hair. I was gone for 1 minute. She told me about her husband, Dr. Ethan Hayes. He wasn't just some missing engineer. He was the creator of the Aura chip, a revolutionary device that could detect pediatric illnesses years before they became symptomatic. A life-saving technology. But it was expensive. And the people who stood to lose billions, the ones involved in the shady deal we called Project Chimera, they wanted him and his chip gone. After Ethan disappeared, they started following me. She whispered, her voice cracking. A week ago, a man at the mall offered to fix Clara's unicorn, said the stitching was loose. I thought he was just being kind. That was the sickening realization. The man didn't fix the unicorn. He turned it into a military-grade tracking node. They didn't want to hurt the child. They wanted to use her proximity to secure defense contractor areas. To steal data, to track Surratt, to find out everything Ethan had left behind. Clara was bait. A sacrificial pawn in a corporate war. Just as the EOD team arrived, Maverick's head snapped up. His deep bark wasn't aimed at the toy anymore. It was aimed at the massive glass wall overlooking the runway. A black, unmarked van was idling just outside the perimeter fence, its windows tinted, engine running. Someone was watching. Someone was waiting for the signal that the tracker was safe. Control, this is Riley, I barked into the radio. Unmarked van, perimeter fence, possible connection to threat. Launch tactical units now. The van's lights flicked on, the tires squealed, and it tore across the service road. It was a movie scene playing out right in front of us. My team took off in pursuit, Ben Diaz leading the charge. But Maverick wasn't done yet, of course. He stood rigid for another second, his eyes tracking the van, and then he spun. He let out a full-throated, urgent roar, the kind of sound that demands action, and lunged toward a small, unattended janitor's cart tucked behind a row of benches. EOD. Check the bag in that cart. I screamed, my voice raw. The technician in the heavy suit approached cautiously, running the scanner. The red lights immediately spiked. Sir, this one's hot. Explosives residue confirmed the tracker wasn't the attack. It was the distraction. The van was the getaway. And the real bomb, a small, highly effective device, was sitting right there, waiting for the tracker to be retrieved or activated in the resulting chaos. They hadn't just planned espionage. They had planned a massacre. The bomb was neutralized. The chase ended with a spectacular crash as the tactical units deployed spike strips, and the two suspects, one of them screaming in a foreign language, were dragged out of the wrecked van. Defeated, the chaos outside began to fade, replaced by the quiet hum of relief. The media called it the Juniper Miracle. But for me, it was just the day Maverick reminded me that sometimes the true heroes don't need a badge or even a voice. They just need instinct. Later that afternoon, after the dust had settled and the debriefing was done, I went to the hospital to see Clara and Sarah, the little girl. Clara, she was sitting up in bed, a little shaken but whole. When Maverick walked in, she squealed, "Maverick, you remembered me." And that big, scary Malinois, he just nudged his head under her hand and let out this soft little puff of air. The hero of the day, humble and protective. Sarah Hayes, tears welling up in her eyes, handed me a small folded note. Clara wanted to write this for him, she whispered. I unfolded it slowly. In a child's uneven handwriting, it read, "Tell the dog he's my angel." I just looked down at my partner, my beautiful, intuitive beast, and I patted his head. He saved us all that day. Not just Clara and her mom, but every single soul in that terminal. He saved our faith in the unseen, the unspoken. But here's the thing, folks, the thing that keeps me up at night. The information the suspects had stolen, the Aura chip data, was potentially compromised. Sarah Hayes is safe, Clara is safe, but Project Chimera is still out there. It's chasing that technology. So I'm curious, and I want to hear your thoughts. If you were Sarah Hayes, knowing your husband's invention could save thousands of children's lives, would you have given up the technology to guarantee your family's absolute safety and peace? Or would you keep fighting, knowing you're risking everything for the greater good? Let me know in the comments below, because that question, folks, that question still keeps me up at night. Drop your opinion, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more stories where real-life heroes walk on four legs.